Okay, welcome back students. In this video we'll discuss about inheritance. This concept is very simple. See, inheritance is something deriving the new classes from already existing classes. Like this we can relate with a real-time example like parent to child, isn't it? Where child is going to acquire the properties from the parent. In that same way, if you have declared some class already and you want to declare new classes from that class, simply what we have to put the parent to child relationship over there. Clear? So already having a class, deriving the new classes from that class is nothing but the concept of inheritance. Okay, so if you read that first point over here, you will understand inheritance allows us to define or to create new classes from another classes. Okay, deriving or defining new class in terms of another class. Okay. Yes, because of this inheritance, the very important application or very important usage of this inheritance is the reusability. You have defined already something, you have already coded something and you are reusing that one. So this is nothing but reusability. Because of this inheritance, we are achieving reusability. And when you are reusing the stuff, the maintenance will also become very easy and you can implement the application very fastly. I mean, in a quicker manner, you can easily develop the application. Clear? So inheritance provides an opportunity to reuse the code, reuse the application code or reuse the functionality, whatever you have already defined. So yes, the already existing class, we call it as the base class, and whatever the new class you are declaring, we call that class as the derived class. Okay. Yeah, when I explained the concept of object oriented program, at that point I told you inside inheritance we have synonyms for this parent class or subclass or superclass. Okay, so deriving the new class from already existing class. So already existing class, we have synonyms like we can call this class as parent class. Okay, parent class, base class or super class. These three names we have. All the meaning is very same. I mean same. We are talking about the parent class only. Then if you derive a new class from this already existing class, we call this second class as child class or subclass based to derived class or subclass. So like this we call them. We are already having something and deriving new thing from already existing thing. This is inheritance. This particular concept we call it as inheritance. So how we can relate this thing to programming? Let us assume that this already existing stuff is my A class and this new class is my B class. So what we are going to do over here means, first we declare class A. We define class A. In it we write the definition. We write the definition or the coding over there. Next we define class B and in it we are going to write the definition associated with that B class. So as I said, we are declaring this B class or deriving this B class from A class. So what I have to do over here, I have to use the derivation operator followed by the parent class name over here. So that syntax we will see in our next slide hopefully. So here this syntax we follow whenever we are deriving the derived class from an already existing class. So first what we have to do, we have to use the keyword class. So let us assume that this A class is already there. A class is already there and now we are deriving the B class. A class is already there and we are deriving the B class. So when we derive this B class, we follow this particular syntax. Whatever syntax is there on that slide, we follow that syntax. So what we have to do, first we have to use the keyword class, use that class keyword followed by the derived class name. So my derived class name is B, so I have to use that derived class name B. Then that colon symbol, single colon, not scope resolution operator. For scope resolution operator we are using 2 colons, but this is derivation operator. We are deriving child class from parent class. So this derivation operator we use only single colon. Use the colon followed by the access specifier, under what mode you are doing this derivation. So let us assume we will discuss about this access specifier in inheritance. Access specifier in inheritance we will discuss. So under public mode of inheritance I am deriving A. I am deriving A. So right now this B class, it not only have its own properties, but also it is going to acquire the properties from A. Okay, so now this B class, it not only has its own properties, but also it is going to acquire the properties from A class. But also going to acquire the properties from A class. This is the concept of inheritance. This is the concept of inheritance. Quickly we'll see in my next slide, that is when you do inheritance, what members, what data members the derived class will acquire from base class. What data members the derived class will acquire from base class, or will inherit from base class. So here we have 2 classes, the parent class, the derived class. The parent class, the child class. Okay, so when you are deriving, you know, we are going to put all the data members under 3 different sections. One is public section, other one is private section, and the third is protected section. Protected section. So when you inherit from parent class to child class, the child class will acquire all the public members as well as all the protected members. It will acquire all the public members and all the protected members. It will not acquire the private members. Still the private members are restricted from parent class to child class. It will acquire only public as well as protected members. Okay, public members from the base class you can access inside the child class. Protected members from the base class you can access inside the child class. But whereas private members, they are still private. We are not having any access under my derived class to the private members of base class. Clear? Yes, this is over here I have specified with the help of a table. As you can see over here, different access locations I have mentioned and different access specifiers I have mentioned in the columns. So if you see, under same class, inside the same class, we can access public members, we can access protected members, we can access private members. So that is the reason why yes I kept. Next, inside the derived class, what data members we can access? Inside the derived class means inside child class only. Inside the derived class we can access the public members, we can access the protected members, but we cannot access the private members. So the last option you can see as no. So private members we don't have any access inside the derived class. Next, the third thing, outside of the class. So can we have public member access? Yes. Can we have protected member access? No. Can we have private member access? No. So outside of the class means not in the derived class but outside of the class. So outside of the class, this we can't call outside of the class. This we call as inside derived class. Outside of the class in the sense some other class you are declaring that is not related to this base class in any manner. So we are talking about that C class. So over here I am declaring C class. So this C class, it is not related to this A class in any manner. So simply I am writing the definition of class C like this. Class C followed by the code, and at the end semicolon. So this is C class. It is nowhere related to class A, but whereas this B class, it is related to class A, because we are inheriting B class from A class. So this is, we call it as derived class. When I am saying outside classes, I am talking about this C, because this C, it is nowhere related to this A. So C is outside of the class. If you are talking about inside the class or same class, that means any method, any function inside this A class itself. Any function inside this A class can have the access right to all the data members. To all the data members. It can access public data members, it can access private data members, it can access protected data members. It is going to have the access to all the data members. Yes, any method, any function inside B class. Now, any function inside B class can have the access to only public data members as well as protected data members of A class, because this B class is derived from A class. Now, if you see this C class, none of the data member, yes, we have to say only the public data members can be accessed from this C class. Clear? Only the public data members can be accessed from this C class. And this private and protected, they are completely restricted. We cannot access them outside the class. We cannot access them outside the class. Clear? So next thing is, yes, when you are deriving your derived class from the base class, what things can't be inherited? What things you cannot inherit from the base class to the derived class? So all the constructor destructors of the base class, they are different for derived class, isn't it? Because derived class name is different, so automatically their constructors and destructors are going to be different. So no constructors and destructors can be inherited from the base class to derived class. So the first thing you can see, constructors, destructors and copy constructors, all they are restricted from inheritance. They can't be inherited from the base class to derived class. Next, all the overloaded operators. What is this operator overloading? Very soon we are going to discuss. So all those overloaded operators we cannot inherit from parent class to child class. They are confined, or they are limited to the defined class itself, not to the derived class. Next, the friend function of the base class. Just now I told you, you can put the friend function definition either in the private area or in the public area. You cannot put it inside the protected area. The reason is we cannot inherit any friend function from the base class to the derived class. Friend function concept is limited to the defined class itself. It can't be inherited to the derived class. So that thing also you have to remember. These things we cannot inherit from the parent class to child class, from the base class to the derived class, from the super class to the subclass. Constructor destructors we cannot inherit. Overloaded operators we cannot inherit, as well as the friend functions we cannot inherit from the parent class to child class. Next thing is modes of inheritance. Now we see modes of inheritance. So this thing to understand, yes, when we are writing or when we are giving the definition of our child classes from the derived class, so let us assume here I have public A, private B, protected C. I have three data members. One is public, one is private, and the other one is protected. So inside my A class, I am not talking about C class now, so I am simply removing that C class from here, from our consideration. We are talking more about only two classes, that is A to B. That is A to B. So inside A class, I have three data members. A is public, B is private, and C is protected. So now when I write the derived class definition, like this. When I write the derived class definition like this, class B, I am deriving from class A in public mode. Here, whatever access specifier you are going to put, we call that access specifier as mode of inheritance. Mode of inheritance. Mode of inheritance. It is very important because based on that only, so I told you that derived class is going to acquire the properties from base class. After acquiring, how it is going to treat those properties, whether those properties it is going to treat as public or private or protected, how it is going to treat those properties. Now, as you can see, we said inside class A I have three different types of properties, three different types of data members. Properties are nothing but your data members only. I have three different types of data members. A is public, B is private, and C is protected. So yes, all these properties except this B, because it is private, will be acquired by your class B, isn't it? Class B will acquire what from A? It is going to acquire A, which is public, and C, which is protected. So after acquiring A and C, how it is going to be treated? How this A and how this C is going to be treated inside this B class? Inside this B class, that depends on the mode of inheritance. Whether we have to treat this A as private or public or protected, how we have to treat this A. After acquiring, how we have to treat this A inside the derived class. That depends on mode of inheritance. If your mode of inheritance is public, quickly see my next slide. If your mode of inheritance is public, then what will happen? Whatever data members you have inside this class, their access specifiers will remain same. That means if A is having public, under B also it is public only. If C is having protected, under C also, under B also it will become protected only. So if the mode of inheritance is public, there is no change in access modifiers. How the access modifiers are there inside your parent class, in that same way they are going to be considered inside your derived class. So now A's access modifier is going to be public only, and C's access modifier is going to be protected only. And for B, for data member B class is not going to have the access because it is private. No access under B. Clear? Next, if mode of inheritance is protected, you can see over here. If mode of inheritance is protected mode, public and protected members of the base class becomes protected inside derived class. So right now, if my mode of inheritance is protected, this is what? This is mode of inheritance. If my mode of inheritance is protected, so this is mode of inheritance. If my mode of inheritance is protected, yes, all public and protected data members will become protected in my derived class. So now I have A and C. So A's access modifier will become protected, as well as C's access modifier will also become protected. Clear? In previous case they won't change, but over here they will change. The last thing, if you inherit, yes, these two things only for public and protected we are discussing. Why we are not discussing for private? Means private they are untouchable, private they are completely secure. We don't have any access inside the child class to the private members of the parent class. So that is the reason why we are not discussing any private members. So the next thing is, if we put the mode of inheritance as private, then what will happen? All my data members, except the private members of the base class will become private in my derived class. So private A, private C. And for B, we don't have, in this case also, we don't have any access. Hopefully you understood this mode of inheritances. Yeah, in our next class, we are going to see the types of inheritance, and we will try to implement all these types with examples. Hopefully you understood. Thank you very much.